When you feel hurt, who is really suffering? Maybe you know this moment. Someone says something, and everything inside you tightens up. You feel misunderstood, offended, or even attacked. Immediately, your inner system reacts. Thoughts rush up. You want to justify yourself, distance yourself, or just disappear. In these situations, it's easy to focus outwards. It's the other person's fault. Their tone was wrong. Their words too harsh. Their gesture too dismissive. Maybe it really wasn't meant kindly, and yet a quiet, honest question arises. What exactly inside me is suffering right now? This question changes everything, because it brings you back to yourself, to your feelings, your thoughts, your reaction, and it shows you. It's not the other person's behavior that hurts you. It's what you think about it, the story you tell yourself about it, what you believe it says about you. This doesn't mean the other person is always right, or that you have to tolerate abusive behavior. It just means the emotional reaction happens inside you, and you have the opportunity to examine it instead of pushing it outwards. When you realize that you are co-creating your feelings, you take a first powerful step into responsibility. Not blame, not self-criticism, but honest self-responsibility. You say, I want to understand why this affects me so much. And that's exactly where healing begins. In the next part, we'll look at how you can specifically distinguish what is really your part and how you can free yourself internally without having to change others. What is really your responsibility? When you begin to realize that your feelings come from within, a new perspective on difficult situations opens up. It's no longer about who is right or who started it. It's about what you bring to the table in terms of experiences, thought patterns, inner beliefs. Maybe someone says something you perceive as criticism. You suddenly feel small or attacked. But if you look closely, you realize the words alone weren't the trigger. It was the thought behind them. I'm not good enough, or I'm not being seen. Such inner sentences act like trigger points, and that's where your responsibility lies. Not in the other person's behavior, but in what is touched within you. This is not about blaming yourself. It's an invitation to shift your perspective. Because if you just wait for others to change, you remain powerless. But when you realize that you can understand and support yourself, true freedom begins. Responsibility doesn't mean you control everything. It also doesn't mean you have to accept everything others do. It just means I take responsibility for my part. I ask myself, what in me is becoming visible right now, and how can I deal with it lovingly? You can react very differently in the same situation if you are present. If you don't automatically fall into old patterns. If you can pause and realize, it's not the other person talking to me. It's my inner pain speaking right now. My old image of myself. My need for recognition or protection. The moment you realize that, you don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to defend yourself anymore. You can say internally, thank you for letting me see this. Now I'm here for myself. In the last part, we'll look at how you can bring this attitude into your life. Day by day, conversation by conversation. Not perfectly, but honestly. And awake. How to reclaim your power. The realization that the real problem lies not outside, but in your reaction to it, can be irritating at first. But the longer you engage with it, the deeper you understand. This is not weakness, but strength. It is the ability to regain control over your experience. Because you begin to see, the other person may be a trigger, but never the source. Your anger, your sadness, your insecurity, They all arise within you, not because something is wrong with you, but because you are human, with a history, with sensitivity, with vulnerabilities. The good news is, that's exactly where you can start. You can pause in an argument, listen inwards, and ask, what do I believe about myself right now? What am I trying to defend or prove? Maybe you realize that you don't want to be overlooked because you often overlook yourself, or that you need confirmation because deep down you doubt you are good enough. These are not flaws. They are clues, gateways to your inner self. And when you enter this space, you become calmer. You no longer have to be loud to be heard. You no longer have to justify yourself to feel valuable. You become quieter, but more powerful. Taking responsibility doesn't mean carrying everything alone. It means no longer demanding that others fill your inner emptiness or stabilize your self-image. It means taking yourself by the hand, gently, clearly, compassionately. And this is where true strength lies. You no longer need a culprit. You no longer need drama. You don't even always need a solution. You just need the willingness to look honestly and to stay there. Reflection. Question: is there a person or situation that regularly hurts you? And what would change if you turned your gaze from the outside to the inside? What if the problem is not the other person, but your relationship with yourself, which is calling for healing at this very point? If you want to find out more about yourself and are looking for ways to go through life more relaxed and positive, subscribe to the channel. That would help you and me. Here, you will find videos that help you understand responsibility in a new way, not as a burden, but as a return to yourself. Clear, awake, and loving. Thank you for your time. Maybe this moment was the beginning of no longer waiting, but of finding within yourself the answer you have been searching for outside for so long.